Matthew chapter 10. Jesus sends out the 12 disciples. Jesus called for his 12 disciples to come to him. He gave them authority to drive out evil spirits and to heal every illness and sicknesses. Here are the names of the 12 apostles. First are Simon Peter and his brother Andrew. Then come James, son of Zebedee, and his brother John. Next are Philip and Bartholomew, and also Thomas and Matthew the tax collector. Two more are James, son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus. The last are Simon the Zealot and Judas Iscariot. Judas is the one who was later going to hand Jesus over to his enemies. Jesus sent these 12 out with the following orders. Do not go among those who aren't Jews, he said. Do not enter any town of the Samaritans. Instead, go to the people of Israel. They are like sheep that have become lost. As you go, preach this message. The kingdom of heaven is near. Heal those who are sick. Bring those who are dead back to life. Make those who have skin diseases clean again. Drive out demons. You have received freely, so give freely. Do not take along any gold, silver, or copper in your belts. Do not take a bag for the journey. Do not take extra clothes or sandals or walking sticks. A worker should be given what he needs. When you enter a town or village, look for someone who is willing to welcome you. Stay at that person's house until you leave. As you enter the home, greet those who live there. If that home welcomes you, give it your blessing of peace. If it does not, don't bless it. Some people may not welcome you or listen to your words. If they don't, shake the dust off your feet when you leave that home or town. What I am about to tell you is true. On Judgment Day, it will be easier for Sodom and Gomorrah than for that town. I am sending you out like sheep among wolves, so be as wise as snakes and as harmless as doves. Watch out. Men will hand you over to the local courts. They will whip you in their synagogues. You will be brought to governors and kings because of me. You will be witnesses to them and to those who aren't Jews. But when they arrest you, don't worry about what you will say or how you will say it. At that time, you will be given the right words to say. It will not be you speaking. The Spirit of your Father will be speaking through you. Brothers will hand over brothers to be killed. Fathers will hand over their children. Children will rise up against their parents and have them put to death. Everyone will hate you because of me, but anyone who stands firm to the end will be saved. When people attack you in one place, escape to another. What I am about to tell you is true. You will not finish going through the cities of Israel before the Son of Man comes. A student is not better than his teacher. A servant is not better than his master. It is enough for the student to be like his teacher, and it is enough for the servant to be like his master. If the head of the house has been called Beelzebub, then what can the others who live there expect? So don't be afraid of your enemies. Everything that is secret will be brought out into the open. Everything that is hidden will be uncovered. What I tell you in the dark, speak in the daylight. What is whispered in your ear, shout from the rooftops. Do not be afraid of those who kill the body but can't kill the soul. So instead, be afraid of the one who can destroy both soul and body in hell. On two sparrows sold for only a penny, but not one of them falls to the ground without your Father knowing it. He even counts every hair on your head. So don't be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows. What about someone who says in front of others that he knows me? I will also say in front of my Father who is in heaven that I know him. But what about someone who says in front of the others that he doesn't know me? I will say in front of my Father who is in heaven that I don't know him. Do not think that I came to bring peace to the earth. I didn't come to bring peace. I came to bring a sword. I have came to turn sons against their fathers. Daughters will refuse to obey their mothers. Daughters-in-law will be against their mother-in-laws. A man's enemy will be the member of his own family. Micah chapter 7 verse 6. Anyone who loves his father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Anyone who loves his son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And anyone who does not pick up his cross and follow me is not worthy of me. If anyone finds his life, he will lose it. If anyone loses his life because of me, he will find it. Anyone who welcomes you welcomes me, and anyone who welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. Suppose someone welcomes a prophet as a prophet. That one will receive a prophet's reward. And suppose someone welcomes a godly person as a godly person. That one will receive a godly person's reward. Suppose someone gives even a cup of cold water to a little one who follows me. What I am about to tell you is true. That one will certainly be rewarded. Matthew chapter 11. Jesus and John the Baptist. Jesus finished teaching his 12 disciples. Then he went on to teach and preach in the towns of Galilee. John was in prison. When he heard what Christ was doing, he sent his disciples to him. They asked Jesus, "Are you the one who was supposed to come, or should we look for someone else?" Jesus replied, "Go back to John. Report to him what you hear and see. Blind people receive sight. Disabled people walk. Those who have skin diseases are healed. Deaf people hear. Those who are dead are raised to life. And the good news is preached to those who are poor. Blessed are those who do not give up their faith because of me." As John's disciples were leaving, Jesus began to speak to the crowd about John. He said, "What did you go out into the desert to see? Tall grass waving in the wind? If not, what did you go out to see? A man dressed in fine clothes? No. People who wear fine clothes are in kings' palaces. Then what did you go out to see? A prophet? Yes. I tell you, I'm more than a prophet. He is the one written about in Scripture. It says, I will send my messenger ahead of you. He will prepare your way for you. Malachi chapter 3 verse 1. What I am about to tell you is true. No one more important than John the Baptist has ever been born, but the least important person in the kingdom of heaven is the most more important than he is. Since the day of John the Baptist, the King of heaven has been advancing with force, and forceful people are taking hold of it. All the prophets and the law prophesied until John came. If you are willing to accept it, John is the Elijah who is supposed to come. Those who have ears should listen. What can I compare today's people to? They are like children sitting in the marketplaces and calling out to others. They say, "We played the flute for you, but you didn't dance. We sang a funeral song, but you didn't become sad." When John came, he didn't eat or drink as you do, as people say he has a demon. But when the Son of Man came, he ate and drank as you do. And people say, "This fellow is always eating and drinking far too much. He is a friend of tax collectors and sinners." Those who act wisely prove that wisdom is right. Cities that do not turn away from sin. Jesus began to speak against the cities who he had done most of his miracles. The people there had not turned away from their sins. So he said, "How terrible it will be for you, Chorazin! How terrible for you, Bethsaida! Suppose the miracles done in you had been done in Tyre and Sidon. They would have turned away from their sins long ago. They would have put on black clothes. They would have sat down in ashes. But I tell you this, on Judgment Day it will be easier for Tyre and Sidon than for you. And what about you, Capernaum? Will you be lifted up to heaven? No, you will go down to the place of the dead. Suppose the miracles done in you had been done in Sodom. It would be still here today. But I tell you this, on Judgment Day it will be easier for Sodom than for you. Rest for all who are tired. At the time Jesus said, "I praise you, Father. You are Lord of heaven and earth. You have hidden these things from the wise and educated, but you have shown them to little children. Yes, Father, this is what you wanted. My Father has given you all things to me. The Father is the only one who knows the Son, and the only ones who know the Father are the Son and those to whom the Son chooses to make him known. Come to me, all of you who are tired and are carrying heavy loads. I will give you a rest. Become my servants and learn from me. I am gentle and free of pride. You will find rest of your souls. Serving me is easy, and my load is light.